Hi, my name is Aditi Tulpule, and I'm the Director of 4D Energy Advisory Services Limited. I'm a regulatory and legal specialist with over 16 years of experience advising on electricity markets, smart grids, and decentralized energy projects. I've worked in-house at Ofgem and Elexon, and in private practice supporting developers, investors, and local authorities. Today, I want to demystify electricity market architecture, and in particular, how it's evolving as energy systems become more decentralized. So I think we can start with the traditional market architecture. To understand where we're going, we need to be clear on where we started. Now, historically, electricity markets were built around centralized generation, large power stations transmitting electricity across national networks and supplying what were essentially passive consumers. Roles were clearly defined: generators, suppliers, network operators, and system operators, each licensed, regulated, and separated. Now, the architecture worked well for scale and reliability, but it wasn't designed for flexibility, local optimization, or in fact, two-way power flows. The limitation became very clear once rooftop solar was introduced. Batteries, EVs, and private wire networks are now essentially in the mix as well. So what's changed in a decentralized system? In a decentralized system, energy is no longer just produced at the top and consumed at the bottom. Instead, we see prosumers, local generation, storage, and smart infrastructure operating behind the meter or essentially within private networks. This creates tension with existing market rules, especially around metering, settlement, balancing, and licensing. For example, questions like, who is the supplier in the multi-occupancy site? How do I allocate value from flexibility or local balancing? Where do regulatory exemptions apply? Understanding electricity market architecture today means understanding how legacy rules interact with innovative commercial models, not just how the system is supposed to work on paper. This is actually quite an important point. The importance of market interfaces is often underestimated. This is actually one of the most critical but overlooked elements in this world of energy decentralization. What does it include? It includes meter configurations, boundary points, balancing responsibility, and access to flexibility and ancillary service markets. If these interfaces are poorly designed, projects lose value, or worse, fall into a compliance risk. If they're designed well, on the other hand, decentralized assets can unlock new revenue streams while remaining aligned with regulatory frameworks. Now, this is where legal, regulatory, and commercial thinking must come together early in project design. What would be a practical way of thinking of architecture, about architecture? Rather than seeing electricity market architecture as abstract regulation, I always encourage clients to think in three practical layers. The physical layer: how is electricity actually flowing? The commercial layer: who's getting paid and for what? And last but not the least, the regulatory layer: what is permitted, what is exempt, and what needs to be licensed. When these three layers are aligned, decentralized projects become investable, scalable, and compliant. And when they're not, complexity and risk multiply very quickly. So to sum up, understanding electricity market architecture in a decentralizing system is more than just knowing the rules. It's about understanding how those rules interact with technology, commercial structures, and real-world assets. So as decentralization accelerates, those who can navigate this complexity will be best placed to unlock value and drive innovation. So my advice is simple: engage with market architecture early, design with regulation in mind, and treat compliance as an enabler, not a constraint. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to continuing the conversation on the future of decentralized energy.